Like, I know I didn't want a toxic relationship anymore, and I was like done with that shit. I knew I didn't want that, but it's like I didn't know how to get the healthy type of connection and love that I was looking for. Since I didn't know what I was really doing, I knew what I really wanted. That's key. I knew exactly what I wanted, but I didn't know how to get it. And so in that time frame of me understanding what it is I really want and understanding what I wasn't going to settle for anymore. And you can't think about what you think you can get. I thought about what it is I really wanted. Really, really wanted. And I knew what I wasn't going to settle for anymore. And so once I got my mind wrapped around that, I slowly began to basically cultivate a life for myself, because it's a waiting period. Because if you know you're not settling no more, it's going to be a waiting period till you get what you're looking for. And that waiting period can be like,
I ain't telling y'all to do it, I'm just telling my story.
Hey girlfriends, welcome back to my story time. I'm your host, author, and mindset and intuitive coach, Kindall D. And I am just fix my hair. I never hardly wear a middle part, so I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. Don't be surprised if you see me back in my other hair next week, because it ain't giving what I thought it was gonna give. So I'm looking at it up close now, like, it's okay. It's okay. But yeah. Today's story time, y'all, is gonna be about how I prepared for a healthy relationship after the toxic ones. How I prepared to meet my husband. Basically. Because you do gotta prepare. Like, you do have to prepare to get what it is you really want. You can't say you want something and then do the total opposite. It's just like if you're saying, I really want to lose weight, but then you go eat some fried chicken and ice cream, and then you go eat shit you ain't supposed to, or you don't work out, but you're saying you really want it. You ain't preparing yourself to get what you want. Your body is not going to lose the weight if you're not preparing it to lose the weight by doing what you need to do. You get what I'm saying? So you may think that you don't have to prepare for it, but you do have to prepare for a healthy relationship, a husband, whatever it is you want. Like, whether you want just a healthy partnership, a long-term relationship, you don't want to be married, whatever it is, you got to prepare for it. So if you want a long-term healthy relationship and you want to be married, all that, listen up. I'm going to tell you how I prepared for it. So, a brief background, a brief short story of my background is that I was a trash dater. I would just say, I was trying to think of another way to word it, but man, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'm going to be honest. Because I've never really dated. I never really learned how to do that. I was basically just out here winging it. Like, I know I didn't want a toxic relationship anymore, and I was like done with that shit. I knew I didn't want that, but it's like I didn't know how to get the healthy type of connection and love that I was looking for, and I just had no idea about that shit. And so maybe this can help you get a better idea about it. And so since I didn't know what I was really doing, I knew what I really wanted. That's key. I knew exactly what I wanted, but I didn't know how to get it. And so in that time frame of me understanding what it is I really want and understanding what I wasn't going to settle for anymore. Like, I understood these things in my head. I knew what I wanted and I knew what I wasn't settling for anymore. That's the key first thing. And you can't think about what you think you can get. I thought about what it is I really wanted. Really, really wanted. And I knew what I wasn't going to settle for anymore. And so once I got my mind wrapped around that, I slowly began to basically cultivate a life for myself because it's a waiting period. Because if you're not settling no more, it's going to be a waiting period till you get what you're looking for. And that waiting period can be like, ugh, I get it. It can get lonely. I get it. But here's what I did step by step. So I said on my first thing, I said that, I got my mind right about what it is I want and what I wasn't settling for. Meaning, I knew that if a guy came along only declaring that, he didn't want anything serious, or declaring that it just wasn't in alignment with what I wanted, or just seemed like he was only after sex, I knew I wasn't settling for that. I knew how to be like, you know what? Nope, that's not what I want. I was okay with being alone because I had built a healthy relationship with myself. That's the number one thing, is during that alone period, because it's just straight up honest, y'all. Like, you will be alone while you wait for someone that's right for you. You just are. Because you're not going to meet them. Everyone you meet is not going to be the one. And so what better way to not settle and not be quick to settle because you have a good life of your own? So I started doing that because I realized that, well, shit, while I'm alone, I might as well, make the best of this shit. And that's how I started looking at it. And so some of the things that I did, y'all, I would come home from work to my own townhouse by myself. I had my own place. It was great having my own place. That was the first time in my life I ever had my own place. I was in my mid-20s. I would come home from work, make my dinner, watch a little TV. Sometimes I would exercise. And my exercise was, y'all, I learned the Beyonce formation dance. That's what I would do. Like, because I'm not really going out through the week because I got to work the next morning. So I come home and just make, in my own townhouse, just have my own little party, And Beyonce formation came out. She had did the Super Bowl that year. And Beyonce's formation came out. I recorded it, or I'm trying to remember. No, I went on YouTube. Yes, YouTube. This was a while ago. So I would go on YouTube on my TV, look up the video, and I learned the damn dance moves. Just having fun with myself. And then I remember I did a little traveling with some friends. This is your time to cultivate your friendships and life with your friends as well, because there's more than just romantic love. There's also platonic love and platonic friendships, good people. And so I made sure to include the good people in my life and keep them around and build connections with them as well. All this was me building my life up around myself and what I wanted for myself. And so I did that. And I just began to have this really good relationship with myself. And the reason why that's so important is because when a man comes along and he ain't really it, you ain't going to settle for it. You're going to be like, I'm okay without you. I got my good life over here. I'm going to go back to my life. I'll see you later. And that's how it was. Because it was a lot of guys that would come along and I would talk to them for a bit. Be like, yeah, they cool. And then they'd be like, yeah, no. Back to my life. And so that's why it's important to, while you're alone, to do that. Because, yes, self-love is not meant to replace romantic love. We get that. It's not. But, while you are waiting for someone to love you properly, to love you correctly, to love you how you want to be loved, while you are waiting for that, because not everyone will be able to, while you're waiting for that, you have to cultivate self-love with yourself, a good life for yourself. You have to do all those things for yourself first and let someone add to it, not someone come along and be all of it. It starts with you. You are the source. And so if you are the source, become someone you can depend on. Depend on for love. Depend on for compassion. Depend on for all the things that you need someone else to provide to you. You can depend on yourself for that because you're like, I got me at the end of the day. And so that's what I make sure to do. Because I realized after going through so much shit, I'm like, I'm going to have to be alone for a while. I'm tired of settling for the situationships. I'm tired of settling for the men that just want sex. I'm tired of settling for the men that just want to talk and ask me what I'm doing all the time. I got tired of this shit. So I'm like, I gotta get that up out of my space. You know, get that up out of my space. It ain't cool. I'd rather be alone. And so I was just alone. And became okay with it. Found things to do. Whatever I like to do, I did it. In my own little townhouse on my own. I wanted to travel, I get up and go. I traveled with some friends. Tried a new restaurant, I did it. Order it, I'll go. Order it out if I didn't want to sit there alone. Because I wasn't quite there yet. I'm still an introvert. Order it out, bring it home and eat it. Trying new things. Just doing me. Because it's like, I'm the adult here. I can do whatever the fuck I want. There's no right or wrong way to do anything. I make the decision for what I want to do. And so I just dived into that. And had fun with it. So that's number one, healthy relationship with myself. That was most important. That I feel like prepared me to meet my husband, because not only was it preparing me to be authentic and to show up authentically when I meet my potential husband, it prepared me to be okay with being alone so that I wouldn't settle for just any damn body. Simple as that. Next thing, I stopped entertaining guys that were not for me. Stop entertaining guys that don't want what you want. Stop entertaining anybody that is just taking up time and space and wasting your damn time. And how you know they're wasting your time? It's not going anywhere. They're not setting a commitment. They're not wanting a commitment. They just hanging out, chilling, taking whatever they can from you. Don't waste your time with that. Don't entertain that. You got to stop entertaining men like that. You do. Because think about it. If you are entertaining men like that, that's all you're going to continue to get. And you're going to basically crowd up the space for what you want to come along. Because you can tell yourself all day long that you ain't going to grow feelings and you be all right. But baby girl, girlfriend, if that's all you're entertaining, that's all you see is a situationship, that man that basically doesn't want a commitment, but y'all probably get along and all that, your heart, your energy, your time, space, your essence, your aura, everything is being poured into this. So you don't have nothing else to give to anything else. You can't entertain someone that doesn't want what you want, because now you can't entertain with someone that wants what you want. So how that gonna work? You can't. So I just stopped entertaining men that didn't want what I want. I had to. I would get lonely sometimes. Yes, I would get lonely sometimes. But it's like, I still can't do myself like that. I can't sell myself short like that. I just thought about it like, yeah, this is a little lonely, but I'm going to make the best of it. And to be honest, I didn't get lonely often, to be honest. And I think it's because I wasn't abandoning myself while alone. I didn't let the thoughts get to me about being alone. I didn't make myself think that, oh, I'm alone, something's wrong with me. I haven't met someone, something's wrong with me. I controlled those thoughts. And I realized that I am by myself right now. I am alone right now because I refuse to settle. I know what I want, and I know that it's out there, but I can't settle or I won't ever get to it. So that's what I trained my mind to believe, is that I started telling myself that I know what I want and I'm going to get it. It's like I was determined. I had this determination that it's going to happen for me. Maybe because it's the Pisces in me and I'm a dreamer. I'm a dreamer girl, lover girl, all of that. Never gave up on love, none of that. I know, it's like I know it's out there. And so I just enjoyed time with myself. And I'm like, I'd rather just be by myself. And, you know, I had friends and I had family, had all of that. So it's not like I didn't have absolutely no one. Even going to work and my coworkers, they were, you know, laughing at my day. I think sometimes when we are alone, we think the worst thoughts because we think about, you know, no one's ever going to love us. I'm going to be alone forever. We think that it's like a life sentence. since I'm alone right now, that means it's going to be a forever thing. And it's not. So I didn't twist my mind up to believe those thoughts about being alone, And so once I controlled that, I was straight. I'm like, I'd be okay. And the next thing I did, dated better quality men. Like, I didn't waste my time on anyone that wasn't even of quality that I was looking for, even remotely. I would date anyone that was of good quality. And because I had the mindset that I can date them and I can never see them again if I don't like them. Like, I think sometimes we get so caught up believing that anyone we date, that, oh, we got to continue to date them. We can't call things off, or I'm stuck with them. No, I can date them and leave them. I can see them and leave them. One date, okay, I'm done with you. That's how I start believing. That's how you prepare for your husband, because it's like you can't just remain stuck on someone that's taking up your time that ain't even what you want. So get your mind right around it and say, like, I can try this date with them. They are of decent quality. They're attractive to me. I can try it and see. Let's see how it goes. You can't go with the mindset like, this has to be the one. I did away with that mindset too, of thinking, oh, they just gotta be the one. Because when you have that mindset, that's how you get blindsided and get love bombed and miss the red flags because you are attached to the outcome. No, I stopped attaching to the outcome. I had that mindset of, I can date them and leave them. And so that's what I did. I found decent quality guys, date them, value, like them, okay, leave them alone, or they'll leave me alone. They realize that they couldn't give me what I want, okay, next. But in all honesty, y'all, that's how I ran into my partner, my husband now. I recall that someone that I was dating at the time, we hit it off in the beginning. Everything was great. The first few phone conversations are great. First date usually is great. And it seemed like, it was just like, wow, we really connecting. Yeah. Just for it to end up to not being there. After the first date, it's like everything went downhill. And now my mind tried to play tricks on me. And I was telling myself, maybe he didn't like what he saw, because I met him on Tinder. And so I'm telling myself, maybe he didn't really like me in person. All of my pictures look like me. Or maybe he thought this. Or maybe, I just started thinking all kind of thoughts and things. And it had me stressed. I ain't gonna lie. But you can't let that man see that stress. Like, I ain't gonna lie and say that, oh, you're never gonna feel that way or feel unworthy about yourself when someone suddenly stops acting like they like you when they did. You're going to wonder what you did wrong. Wonder that by yourself. Don't express that to him, and don't move in closer. Move further away and deal with them thoughts by yourself. That's what I did as well. Because it's like, when you try to entertain someone like that becomes inconsistent, that slows up you meeting someone for you. I know that it plays mind tricks with you. And I know it's confusing. And I know it may make you even doubt yourself, doubt your worth, doubt that maybe he's not as attracted to me as he thought he was, or maybe something changed, or I did something wrong. Those doubts are going to come up, especially if you had an anxious attachment and you're trying to get rid of that. But the one thing you can do is just pull back. Think those thoughts on your own. You can pull back and still have those thoughts and wonder. And then while I was doing the wondering, I told myself, like, okay, if he doesn't really like me like that all of a sudden, or he's inconsistent all of a sudden, or maybe he doesn't really like me like I thought he did, then that must mean he ain't for me. That must mean I got to keep moving on. And so I did. And I met my husband right after that. Like, I was still talking to him every now and then, and I just left it for what it was. Like, it's every now and then. I'm not expecting more. I gave it the same energy. I didn't quite leave it all the way alone, because I don't know why I did. I knew it wasn't going to be more, and I wasn't giving more, and I don't know. I don't know why I didn't, but I knew not to feed into it. I knew not to keep trying to see him or begging to see him or asking when I'm going to see him. I didn't do any of that. It was just whenever you text me, oh, whatever, okay, whatever. But I didn't entertain it, if that makes sense. I didn't quite leave it alone, but I also didn't entertain it. And I continued to date others. And I met my husband. Before I go into the story of how I met my husband, like a short story, let me tell you this. I also really, really made a complete list about what it is I want. And I got serious about it. Like, I put everything on that list down to having a damn beard. And my husband has a beard. So, I prayed on it. And I prayed for what I really, really wanted in a man in relationship. And I prayed to God about what I didn't want anymore as well. And what I was looking for. And what I wanted. And I was detailed with my prayer. So you got to be detailed about what it is you really want. And then prepare yourself for it. I forgot to mention that. So that was one of the top things I did as well. But when I met my husband, y'all, I was in a place, because I've already, think about it. I've already done the list of things. I've already been specific about what I want. I've already cultivated a life for myself and got okay with being alone. I've already learned to date better quality men. I've already cleared my space of all men that didn't want what I wanted, that didn't want a commitment. I had a clear space. I had like that other guy, like I said before, that I would text every now and then, but that was it. And he liked me really hard and heavy at first and suddenly didn't. It played with my mind a bit, but after a while I realized, like, okay, if he don't like me like that, I can't like him like that, and I can't give that anything. I can't entertain that. And so I told him, like, you know what? It's whatever. But I remember sending a text to him once I met my husband and we started getting serious that, hey, I met someone. So we can't talk. Even though it was just every now and then. I just want him to send me a text accidentally, like out the blue, like he would do sometimes while I'm with my new boyfriend that wanted a commitment. That's why I say you got to prepare yourself. So I prepared myself and I got rid of what I didn't want. And I said, hey, I met someone. We're going to cool it right here. And of course he was cool with it. He probably didn't really care, but I still wanted to make sure that I told him, don't text me no more, basically. I don't want you texting me while I'm with someone. So that's how I prepared myself. I cleared my space of any and everything that wasn't aligned with what I want. And so you have to be in alignment with what it is you say you want. Just like the analogy I made in the beginning about wanting to lose weight, but not aligning yourself with it. So if you want to lose weight, why you got ice cream and cookies and cake and fried chicken and fried whatever in your house? Why you got all this junk in your house? Why are you not going to work out? You're not in alignment with what you say you want. So how are you going to get it? And so I'd align myself with what I want. And so when I met my husband and when I went on this date, I had no idea he was going to be my husband. I didn't have no idea I was going to like him. I actually didn't like him at first. I didn't hate him. And I thought he was, he was a little different than what I usually go for. He was attractive to me, but not like what I usually go for. He had the beard and all that. We went on a date and, had good conversation. And I still was just like, I don't know. We'll see. I don't have to see him again. And I realized is that once you have gone on the journey and prepared yourself to meet someone, you are in the space of, I am going to allow someone's space to move in towards me and show me who they are. Let me make sure I help you to make sense of that, because this is very, very critical and important, I feel like. Because just about everyone that met their match and has their partner, half of them, maybe more than half of them, were like, I didn't know they were going to be my husband, and I didn't know. I wasn't expecting that. And that's how it usually happens, because you can't be expecting it. You can want it, but you can't expect it out of everyone you meet. You can't be attached to that outcome. And so I learned to detach from an outcome and just let someone show up and show me who they are. And so I feel like when I met my husband, I was in that space because of all the preparation that I've done. I was in that space of, I am prepared to go back to my single life by myself and keep enjoying my time with myself and whoever the people I have in my life, platonic relationships I have in my life. I'm prepared to go back to that shit if you ain't talking right. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with going on this one date and trying it and then saying bye if I don't like you. Like, bye-bye. I'm okay with that. I was in that space of, let's just see. Not in the space of, oh, I want him to be the one so bad. No. And so I feel like in that preparation for meeting someone for you, meeting your husband or meeting someone long term. I feel like the preparation for that is basically getting to that space and that attitude of I'm okay with you and I'm okay without you. And that's what that preparation helped me to do. Because I'm going to tell you something. I was dating him, right? And then things started growing. I could tell that he was basically pursuing me. I felt like he was really pursuing me. And that's what you want. I didn't feel like that I was begging for time, begging for love, begging for attention, begging for him to talk to me. I didn't feel like any of that. I feel like that he was actually wanting to make sure he lock it down with me. He asked me to be his girl after about a month of us dating. He said, I love you after about like maybe a month or two. And so I'm like, he pursued me the whole damn time. The whole damn time. And I realized it's because I allowed him the space to do so. And you may be wondering, what do you mean allow him the space to do so? So allow him the space to do so meant that I wasn't trying to control anything. I wasn't trying to control how the connection was going to go. I was basically going along with what I had in my head of what I wanted and allowing him to show me that. I didn't have to go, I'd have to tell him the list of things that I wanted in a man and all of that. I kept it very basically brief and light about what I was looking for. Nothing too specific. And I just allowed him room to show me. And something that I realized about men is that they can want to commit to you, want to marry you, want to do all those things, but they'll be damned if they let someone force them into it. And I wasn't about forcing no man no more to do anything. I've been there, done that. And I think that's what allowed him to think for himself and to continue to pursue me. It's because he knew that I could take my ass somewhere else and be okay. And he knew, and he could, and I didn't, even after we had sex, I didn't try to say, okay, so we should go together now. Or nothing like that. I didn't become, I just didn't force nothing. Because I didn't care, if that makes sense. I didn't care what it was going to become. I knew that he was looking for something serious. I didn't know that. And so was I. But I didn't care if it materialized to anything or not, because I was okay with going back to my life by myself. I can't reiterate that enough. That's how I prepare for my husband. And that's how you can. And it's not just you telling yourself that, okay, I'm going to stop caring so much. You can't just tell yourself that. You have to create a life around that to where it becomes something that naturally happens, to where you naturally are not attached to any outcome with anyone that you date. And that you know exactly what you want and you're not settling. So once you do all those things to prepare for it, especially getting the ones out your space that don't want what you want, especially that's key. Because if you got a lot of men in your life that don't want what you want in your space and you're entertaining them, but they don't want a commitment, but yet you're entertaining them anyway, how the man you want to commit to and have a monogamous relationship with going to get to you? It's too crowded already. How are you going to even know to take up time with that with him? How are you going to know that? How are you going to? No, it's just not going to work, because you're putting him against other people that don't want what you want, and you're spending your time and energy on that. You ain't going to have nothing to spend on someone that actually wants what you want, that wants what you want, and it's not going to be sent to you, because obviously you like people that don't want a commitment. It's not in alignment. Why continue with someone that's not in alignment? Why continue with someone that's not in alignment with what you want? Why? That's why I say you got to get okay with your alone time too. That's important. All the steps are important. But that's basically what I did to meet my husband. Like, I met him on Tinder. I wasn't expecting much of it. Just was, saying, hey, what's up? And let's go out. We went out. And next thing I know, things started growing. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is a nice guy. And he's treating me very nice. Like, okay, I like him now. And it happened out of nowhere. And now we've been together. It has been 8 years this year. 8 years, yeah. And so, yeah. And now I'm not saying that in doing these things that, bam, Mr. Right's going to come along right soon as you start doing these things. But I want you to get to a place of preparing yourself for meeting who you want and who you want to be in a commitment with. I want you to prepare yourself for it so that you are entertaining nothing but men that want what you want. Whether it goes to a connection, whether it leads to a relationship, marriage, or not any of that, you have to prepare yourself in your mind for that. Because you're going to get a lot of no's where you get a yes. That's one thing. You're going to be alone for a bit before you get to someone that you really want. So that's why I said, get okay with your alone time. Now you see how kind of all lines up. Because I'm telling you, to meet someone, it's that you really want. You're gonna have to prepare for it, because it's gonna be you may be alone for a minute waiting. I'm trying to think how long I was alone. It really doesn't matter, but yeah, just prepare for that. It doesn't mean it's gonna be forever, but prepare your mind for that. But yeah, that's how I prepared to meet my husband, and then I met him and happily married. And yeah. After all those toxic relationships, all that shit I've been through. If you haven't, you can read my book, Toxic Ex Chronicles, John. It's on Amazon. And my link, I'veBeenThatGirl.net, talks about all the shit that I went through before I got to the space I'm in now, basically. And yeah, I've been through a lot of shit, so I totally get it. But that's why you have to prepare. If you've had nothing but like bad relationships, toxic relationships, whatever, never really had a good relationship or a healthy relationship, you have to prepare yourself for it. You have to become someone different to even have what you're looking for, have a healthy relationship. Because if you found yourself in those toxic relationships, there's a part of you also that probably needs worked on. There's a part of you also that may even be toxic as well. Not saying that you are deliberately toxic and go around being narcissistic to everyone and hurting everyone. I'm not saying that. But there's a part of you also that needs to level up your self-esteem, level up your confidence, level up your self-awareness, all of that. There is a lot that needs to happen within you to prepare for meeting someone that's better and healthy for you. And yeah. That's how I did it. It's like I built a healthy relationship with myself first. I got to me first and just developed myself and healed from all the shit that I went through and worked through the shit that I've gone through. And to be honest, one other thing I forgot to mention that helped me to come out of that space that I was in is I dated. And when I say I dated, I think I did mention this. I dated the better quality men. Yeah, basically. And in dating them, it made me realize that, okay, there is better out there. So, that helped as well. So, that's all I got. I'm rambling now. Because I'm thinking like I forgot something. But that's really all I did. It's I guess the list is short, but the work is a lot. Yeah. So, I'm guessing, yeah, I feel like I got more to say. But that's really all I did to prepare. Yeah. But that's all I got for this story time, girlfriends. Until the next one, peace out.